The average cruiser spends 40% more than they planned and enjoys 40% less than they expected, not because cruising is a bad experience, because they never understood the game they were playing. Today we are breaking down all 7 levels of cruise strategy, from the passenger who boards clueless to the 1% who designs their entire experience before the ship even leaves port. Level 1, the clueless cruiser. This is the person who booked the cruise and thought that was enough planning. No strategy, no preparation, just excitement and a suitcase packed with wrong assumptions. They arrive at the port thinking everything is included. Drinks? Of course. Wi-Fi? Must be free. Specialty restaurants? Why wouldn't they be part of the deal? And that is the very first mistake. They board late, thinking timing doesn't matter, but timing is everything on a cruise. By the time they step onto the ship, the early advantages are already gone. The best dining times are taken, popular shows are fully booked, and the most scenic spots on deck are already claimed by passengers who understood what they didn't, that this ship rewards whoever shows up prepared. And that's when the confusion starts setting in. Within the first few hours, the spending begins without them even noticing. A drink here, an internet package there, a last-minute shore excursion that costs far more than it should. It all adds up quietly, invisibly, until suddenly it doesn't feel so budget-friendly anymore. Why is this extra? Why is everything so busy? They don't realize that a little planning could have solved all of this. Instead, they react to the situation rather than controlling it. They follow the crowd everywhere. The buffet at peak hours, long elevator queues, overcrowded pools, packed lounges, jam-packed excursion boats. They move when everyone else moves, eat when everyone else eats, and spend when everyone else spends. Every decision is reactive, every move is last minute, and every missed opportunity is a lesson that arrives too late. And by the final night, they leave with one thought repeating in their head. That was fun, but expensive. They had a good time, sure, but they left so much on the table simply because they didn't know better. This is level 1, the starting point. The place where most passengers live, unknowingly trapped in the basic cruise experience, and sadly, most of them never move past it. Level 2, the deal chaser. This is the person who thinks they've cracked the system because they saved $200 on booking, walking onto that ship with quiet confidence and the unshakable belief that the cruise line has been outsmarted. It hasn't. Weeks go into hunting discount sites, refreshing booking pages, and comparing prices across multiple platforms, but the entire chase is focused on the fair price, not the total cost. And those are 2 completely different numbers. The cruise fare is just the entry ticket. Everything that actually makes a cruise enjoyable, drinks, dining, excursions, Wi-Fi, spa treatments, that's where the real money gets spent. And there's no plan for any of it. The instinct is to go straight for the cheapest inside room available without realizing that booking a balcony during an early promotion often costs only $30 to $50 more per night and completely transforms the experience. A regret that hits the moment that windowless box comes into view. Then a drinks package shows up advertised as 50% off, and it gets purchased immediately without any calculation of whether actual drinking habits justify the cost. Because the sweet spot to break even is roughly 6 to 8 drinks per day, and most casual drinkers never hit that number. Shore excursions get booked directly through the ship, unaware that independent local operators at the dock offer identical tours for sometimes half the price. Peak hour buffet prices get paid without knowing specialty restaurants run significant lunch discounts. And because nothing was reserved in advance, show bookings, premium dining slots, and popular spa times are already gone. The cruise line didn't trick anyone. It simply rewarded passengers who understood the system and charged full price to everyone who didn't. The cheap fare was secured, yes, but then it all came back, slowly, quietly, across 7 days at sea. Saving money up front means absolutely nothing if there's no strategy for what comes after boarding. Level 3. The organized planner. This is the person who actually did the homework. watched the YouTube videos, built the spreadsheet, joined the cruise forums, and showed up with a checklist covering everything from boarding time to port schedules. Dining reservations get locked in the moment the window opens, show tickets are reserved weeks in advance, excursions are researched and compared, and the port arrival is early enough to board in the first wave. Compared to Level 1 and Level 2, this looks like genius. And honestly, in many ways it is. But here is the problem nobody warns about. Every single tip followed came from the same YouTube channels, the same blogs, and the same cruise forums that 3,000 other passengers on that exact ship also read. The same hidden gem restaurant every travel blogger recommends gets booked. The same must-do excursion that sells out in 20 minutes gets lined up for, because everyone else read the same article. The beginner mistakes get avoided, but the path leads straight into organized chaos instead, which is somehow more frustrating because the expectation was to escape it entirely. The lines still exist, just slightly shorter. The crowds are still there, just at slightly different times. And the real advantages that generic cruise content never covers still get missed. Things like which cabin positions on the same deck offer a completely wind-free balcony experience, which port days are actually better spent on a nearly empty ship rather than going ashore with hundreds of others, and which specialty restaurants quietly release last-minute cancellation slots that reward passengers who know exactly when to check. That kind of knowledge never appears in a standard YouTube video because it requires real experience, not just research. And that is the trap of Level 3, optimizing the standard cruise experience without ever questioning whether the standard experience was actually the best one available. The obvious mistakes stop happening, and the invisible ones begin. Level 3 feels like mastery because it is so much better than what came before it, but in reality, it is just efficient mediocrity, doing the average things better than average, and never realizing there was a completely different game to play all along. Level 4. The timing strategist. This is where things start to shift. The Level 4 cruiser is not spending more money than Level 3, not booking more things, not doing more research, just doing everything at the right time. And on a cruise ship, timing is the difference between a stressful experience and an effortless one. While everyone else rushes to the buffet at noon, this smart mover is eating at 11:15 when the place is half empty, the food is freshest, and the staff are actually relaxed enough to be helpful. While 300 people are fighting for hot tub space at 4 in the afternoon, he already used it at 7:30 in the morning with nobody around and a completely unobstructed ocean view. While the pool deck is a wall of sunbeds and sunscreen at midday, he claimed his spot at 8 a.m., went for breakfast, and came back to a chair that was still his. No premium area purchased, no complaints about crowds, just a simple understanding that the ship runs on a completely predictable schedule and that schedule can be used against itself. Port days are the greatest advantage of all. The moment the ship docks and 70% of passengers flood off for excursions, the corridors feel like a private charter. Pools empty, spa open, the specialty restaurant that was fully booked last night suddenly showing available tables at lunch. The ship that felt crowded yesterday becomes the most relaxed environment imaginable, enjoyed by only the few smart enough to stay. The last night of the cruise is the single best night for specialty dining because cancellations are at their highest and prices are sometimes reduced. The second show performance is always less crowded than the first. There's a predictable moment when the photographers disappear, when the sales pressure on the pool deck stops, and when the best quiet corners of the ship open up naturally. Same ship, same cruise price, same 7 days, completely different experience. That is the power of Level 4, not spending differently, just thinking differently about when. Level 5. The system hacker. This is where it gets interesting. The Level 5 cruiser is not smarter than the cruise line, just someone who understands how it actually operates, and that changes everything. While everyone else is paying full price and feeling good about a 10% discount, there's an upgraded cabin being enjoyed without paying for it, a drink being sipped covered by a perk unlocked before boarding, and a shore excursion being planned that cost almost nothing, not because of luck, but because of knowing exactly where to look. Cruise lines quietly drop upgrade prices in the 48 to 72 hours before departure when unsold premium cabins need to be filled, and a bid submitted at the lowest possible range more often than not results in an upgrade confirmation email the morning before boarding at a fraction of the original price. Loyalty programs on most major cruise lines start rewarding passengers from the very first sailing. Free laundry, priority boarding, onboard credits, benefits that get completely ignored by passengers who assume they only kick in after years of sailing. The perk stacking is where it gets truly powerful. A booking promotion adds a drinks package. A credit card offer adds onboard credit. A referral link from a previous passenger drops another $50 into the account. By the time boarding happens, a significant portion of onboard spending is already covered by money accumulated before stepping foot on the ship. The cruise line app gets watched like a market trader watches stock prices. Certain dining reservations open the night before, spa treatments get discounted on port days when treatment rooms sit empty, and the art auction, the jewelry showcase, and the premium tasting events all come with complimentary drinks for anyone who simply walks in and sits down without buying anything. No fighting the system, no complaining about it, just a quiet, thorough study of how it works, every gap it left open found, and a straight walk through. Same cruise, fraction of the stress, half the cost. That is level 5. Not hacking in the illegal sense, just paying attention in a way most passengers never bother to. Level 6. The invisible VIP. Never spotted, never loud, never flashing a loyalty card or demanding to speak to a manager, and yet somehow, everywhere this person goes on that ship, things just work out better. The Level 6 cruiser understands something no YouTube video ever teaches, that on a cruise ship, behavior is worth more than booking class. Boarding happens early without rushing, settling in without stress, and on the very first day the cabin steward gets greeted by name, not as a power move, just as one human being treating another with basic respect. That small moment changes the entire cruise, because that steward now knows the face, remembers it, and takes care of things in ways that never appear on any official list of amenities. The same approach carries into the dining room. Staff get greeted, a name or two gets remembered, genuine appreciation gets shown, and within a single evening there is a preferred table, a waiter who anticipates the order, and service that other passengers at the exact same restaurant simply do not receive despite paying the identical price. Lines never become a problem because arrival never happens when lines exist. Stress never shows because situations that create stress never get entered. Movement through the ship is unhurried, completely controlled, and that energy is visible to every crew member in the vicinity. Because staff on cruise ships are exceptional at reading passengers, can spot genuine warmth from performance instantly, and consistently go above and beyond for the people who treat them like people rather than service providers. A quiet word with the right person at the right moment produces a better seat at the show, a table that was supposedly fully booked, a cabin issue resolved in 20 minutes instead of 2 days. No demands, no loud complaints, just calm confidence that makes people genuinely want to help. The cruise was not built for this person. The people running it simply respond to behavior first and booking class second, and nobody on that ship understood that better. Level 7. The Cruise Architect. This is the top 1%, and the gap between Level 7 and everyone else is not just knowledge, it is intention. Every single decision, from the moment a cruise gets chosen to the moment of disembarkation, is deliberate, calculated, and compounding. No cruise gets simply booked. An experience gets designed from the ground up. It starts before any booking page opens. The specific ship gets chosen for a specific outcome, with full knowledge of which vessels have the best cabin-to-passenger ratios for naturally fewer crowds regardless of timing, and which itineraries attract which type of traveler, making it possible to curate not just the destination, but the entire demographic sharing the ship. The layout gets studied like an architect studies a blueprint. Which cabins sit above noisy venues, which side of the ship faces the most scenic coastline on each specific port day, which deck position offers the shortest walking distance to the most frequently used spaces. The cabin that gets booked is never random. It is the result of a single decision that considered movement, noise, natural light, and access all at once. Then the strategies get stacked in layers. The timing intelligence of Level 4 sitting underneath the system hacking of Level 5, sitting underneath the behavioral mastery of Level 6, none of them operating separately but working together as one seamless approach that shapes every hour on the water. By the time boarding happens, crowds have essentially been engineered out of the experience, not avoided occasionally, engineered out entirely, because their location at every hour of every day is already known and already planned around, so naturally it never even feels like effort. Costs are minimized not through cheap bookings, but through intelligent perk stacking, precise timing of purchases, and knowing exactly which paid experiences can be accessed freely with the right knowledge. The experience is maximized not by doing more things, but by doing the right things at the right moments with the right people around. While Level 1 is reacting to the cruise, Level 3 is planning it, and Level 5 is hacking it. Level 7 is controlling it entirely, every move intentional, every decision building on the last. The cruise does not happen to this person. This person happens to the cruise. So there it is. All 7 levels, laid out from the person who boards with no plan and leaves with an empty wallet, all the way to the cruise architect who engineers the entire experience before the ship even leaves the port. The gap between those two people is not money, not luck, and not some exclusive insider club. It is simply awareness. Knowing how the ship works, when to move, how to behave, and where the real value is hiding in plain sight. Every single level is a choice, and now that the map exists, there is no reason to stay where you started. So the real question is, where does this land for you? Drop a comment with your level, a personal experience, or a hack that completely changed how you cruise, because the best knowledge in this space has always come from real passengers comparing notes. If this hit differently, hit like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because there is a lot more to unpack about what separates an average cruise from an unforgettable one. The cruise was never just a trip, it is a game, and now you know how to play it.